in a bid to find a lasting solution to the flooding situation that the country has continued facing. The Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit National Coordinator Dr. Gabriel Paulen says government will enforce building and planning standards as a way of ensuring that people settle in designated places.
So going forward, the government is going to enforce very strict building standards and very strict planning initiatives. Most people, when they're approached by the city council, they refuse. So what did you build your house here? You need to pay penalties and so forth. We refuse, don't we? As communities, we refuse. But then tomorrow, when you're befallen by calamity, what's the first thing you do? You call upon the government. So let's work together. This requires a whole of society approach.
Dr. Paulen adds that despite the flooding situation being the responsibility of government, the community should also play its part.
And the flooding that is taking place there is responsibility on the part of communities themselves. Most people have built in places where they're not supposed to build their houses, and when they're flooded, they're calling upon the government. Of course, it's the responsibility of the government to look after its people, but the people themselves must also be responsible now. And what we observe in the peri-urban areas are structural distortions accumulating over time and space. So this is decades and decades of poor urban planning and residential development.
He has since urged the public to continue being patient as government is working on finding a lasting solution to the flooding situation.
The changes that are going to bring about a positive shift and transformation are incremental. And let's be patient in the approach that the government is playing. And we appreciate also that these questions are being asked because it's a reminder that society is engaged in providing these initiatives. The refurbishment and rehabilitation of drainages is not a short-term measure. It's a long-term measure. It's developmental. It's adding to the aesthetics of the city, but it's also supporting issues of damage. But I think long-term, we're asking people to start thinking about settlements in better planned areas rather than squeezing in places that have been poorly planned.
Helen Chisha reporting for Movie TV News in Lusaka.